как раз можем посмотреть
Ага.
вот последний видос с WrestlinGifs. Продолжает он свою серию
Мгм.
видосов про интернет-фанатов нулевых. И, блять, почему-то у меня... Нихуя, во. В этот раз выпуск про 2006.
Давайте посмотрим, да.
Так, сейчас в телегу только опрокину. Так. Пу-пу-пу-пу-пу.
Мне нравится вот это вот видос WRESTLING Saudi shows used to be ridiculous.
М. Ну, тоже, кстати, как можно будет посмотреть, это вроде так... Ну, я видел, но это вроде как, типа, он, ну, про вот старые вот эти первые арабские шоу, там все, про всех их, насколько он так
Да-да-да-да-да.
рассказывает.
Да. Вот вспомните просто, от чего мы ушли, к
Ну
чему мы
да, да,
пришли.
да. Где мы были, как бы, да. Не
Да.
забывай, с кем ты ползал, блядь.
Да-да. Чтобы понять, что вот сейчас-то нормально, сейчас заебись наоборот.
Так, ну поехали.
2006 is one of the weirdest, wildest, and for people my age, most important years in wrestling history. It was a year where Cena became the...
Единственный минус WrestlinGifs, короче, что у него, ну, прям... Он топчется часто на месте вот в плане таймлайнов по тематике роликов. Все вот где-то вот середина нулевых, вот все он где-то там обитает. Просто вот про свое детство рассказывает. Ну просто, бля, ну не все начали тогда. Он вроде более-менее наш ровесник, может на год, на два старше как бы. Ну, просто мы-то начали в 2011 году смотреть в основном все как бы. Когда оно...
Ну
Когда
да,
мы
да.
были детьми, оно к нам на телек залетело как бы. Поэтому, ну, у меня как бы, ну, не жиза все эти ностальгичные видики про нулевые. Оно интересное, но не ностальгичное, как бы, да.
villain for half of the audience, the year where Edge traumatized a generation, the year where we saw Big Show's ass, and so much more. Now, 06 in the WWE might not
Кстати,
have aged
а
the
этого
best.
случайно не было вот этот вот, помнишь, сегодня заголосовали? Это случайно не оно было, то, что это DX против Макменов и Биг Шоу?
Это оно, по-моему, было, да. Там была эта хуйня. Жопой, да-да-да-да-да.
Шикарно.
But for myself, who was 8 years old at the time, it was perfect. Which
8 было. Уже на год он старше.
explains why I am the way I am. But now that it's 2026 and 2006 was 20 years ago, just like how we did a few months ago for 2005, it's finally time to see what the hell were wrestling fans thinking back online in 2006. What was their reaction to Edge and Lita, to ECW coming back, to God Wrestling? What were their predictions? What did they want to happen?
Бля, какой странный год, реально. Секс в прямом эфире. Бог. Возвращение Седаба, блядь. Роб Ван Дам становится чемпионом ВВЕ. Вот эта хуйня с Биг Шоу, да, DX, там, Макменами, там, бля, Винс вообще там... Не только как, ну, типа, просто личность, но и как персонаж на экране с ума, блядь, сходил конкретно. Странное было время.
And everything in between.
Да,
What
дикий
were
год.
internet wrestling fans like in 2006? Well, let's get in the time machine and find out. Last episode ended with us looking back at the ending of New Year's Revolution 06, where it seemed like every single wrestling fan that had internet back in the day was celebrating and pissing on Cena's grave when he lost the title to Edge. It was a straight up Grove Street party online. To them, it was like Hitler had finally died. But what was the reaction the next night when the company held one of its most
Интересное
infamous
сравнение.
segments of all time?
А сейчас часто сравнение, ты, ну, это мем в интернете, ты не видел? Мое любимое, сейчас я покажу эту картинку. Во. Вот в основном вот с такой картинкой.
Ну да-да-да, это я видел, да.
Да, мое любимое, когда, знаешь, типа, вот эту вот инфу про то, что Канье Уэст извинился перед всеми, вот с этой картинкой постили. Вот это было смешно. Осуждаю Гитлера невероятно, кстати.
Да.
Максимально не
Осуждаем.
поддерживаю
January 9th,
Гитлера.
2006 at 12:39 a.m., just 2 hours after the pay-per-view ended, and it was already announced online. Tomorrow night on Raw, Edge is promising to have live sex with Lita in the middle of the ring. Smiley face. Yeah, sounds normal to me. Sounds like Monday Night Raw in the 2000s. LMAO, let's go Edge.
Нормально.
This homie definitely had the lotion ready. As long as I see Edge naked, it's good. Cena will come out and they will tag team Lita, thus leading into Cena's heel turn. I think it's safe to say that just as Edge begins to peel away Lita's bra, Cena's music will hit and he will come down to the ring and break up the party. Anyone who thinks otherwise is quite frankly an idiot. Someone will break this up. Buddy, Cena definitely broke it up, but we saw a lot more before that happened. Quote, wow, I've never seen somebody catch an STD in real time before. Despite the joke.
Лол.
Это смешно, это
Нормально.
смешно, это в натуре смешно.
Most people thought, yeah, they're not gonna do anything crazy, just a stupid little angle, just an edgy way to get a ratings boost. They're not gonna go that far. And then the segment happens, and all you see online is ... Oh god, I was just kidding before. Stop. I wish I was with them. Oh dear god. Whoa, way too much there. Edge's package, ew, oh my god. And the most relatable comment of them all, please don't let my mom come in now. Hey yo, you just know he was genuinely tripping because he couldn't even finish spelling the word please. By the way, you definitely know his mom pulled up. Anthony, what are you doing in there, Anthony? Mom, nothing, it's just wrestling, mom, I swear. Yeah, it's just Edge versus...
Ебать, ну, опять же, там даже запалили титьку, ебать. Это вам не хухры-бухры.
Более.
Lita.
Я что-то этот момент
Нет, там был
пропустил.
момент, да, что там же они в какой-то момент, ну, она из-под одеяла скинула бюстгальтер, как бы. И там как-то он приподымал, как бы, этот одеяло, и там можно было увидеть титьку Литы, да.
Normal. What a time. The 2006 Rumble might not be the best Rumble ever or anything, but for kids my age, seeing Ray win was so awesome. And what was really cool was to go back and look at predictions from that time and seeing how a lot of people wanted Ray to win the Rumble, but it just did not seem possible. Ray is a long shot, but I think fans could buy him as a contender. P.S. Ray would be cool, but I don't see it happening. I don't think Vinnie Mac has a freaking clue what the fans want to see anymore. Do you kids like God? A Mysterio win would be fabulous, but I really doubt Vince will do it. Speaking of Rey Mysterio, while doing research for this video, I found an absolute gem of a thread. This thread was called the Rey Mysterio Tag Team Partner Curse. Quote, Edge broken neck, RVD severe knee injury, Eddie sadly departed, Batista tricep injury. All of these incidents happen in under a year after they lose the tag team titles. Any comments? I mean, when you put it like that, no wonder everyone betrays him. If you don't, you might end up being severely departed. Rey Mysterio was the problem.
Бля, про Рэй Мистерио у него, кстати, охуенный видос был. Все ненавидят Рэй Мистерио, называется, это просто разъеб.
We know this. So if he wins a singles title again, then he loses it, what will happen to him?
Had surgery 5 times in my left knee.
Ray won the Rumble as we know, and the fans online for the most part loved it. Everyone was excited and it was great. But by the time we got to WrestleMania 22, everyone hated him. Vince and the company single-handedly made all the older fans turn on Ray post the Rumble. The same fans who wanted him to win by Mania hated the idea of him winning, and it was all because the company kept mentioning and exploiting Eddie Guerrero. See, for us, when we were kids, we didn't care. We liked Ray for Rey Mysterio. But for all the older fans, they saw what they were doing with him and how they turned him into an Eddie Guerrero tribute merchant, and they just did not care after that. Because Ray came off as such a loser. He was always crying, always mentioning Eddie, and then he lost it No Way Out and lost his title shot. And that's what led to Ray getting booed at WrestleMania 22. They just made him into such a dork. Everyone loved him winning at the Rumble, but Vince did his best to get the fans to turn on him. Because spoiler alert, Vince didn't want Ray to win the Rumble. He wanted Randy. It was Pat Patterson that convinced Vince to let Ray win. But speaking of WrestleMania 22, let's take a look back at some predictions, and without a doubt, what was so fascinating about this was everyone thought Cena was losing. Triple H's shovel was back out in full force, and everyone and their mom thought it was time for the inevitable. Cena by this point was getting booed on Raw more often than not. It was a problem, it was an epidemic. They were actually editing crowd noise for him apparently, according to rumors, and with Triple H back in the spotlight, it seemed like a no-brainer that the Cena experiment was done and the game was going over. As silly as that sounds now, it made sense because at that point, Cena was only champion for a year. He's getting booed, he's getting rejected. Maybe it is time to go back to old reliable. Maybe the experiment is over. We've seen how fast they give up on people. And here, all you see is, if Cena wins, I will be absolutely stunned. Quote, has to be Triple H. Cena is just no good as champ. Mind you, these were the same people who hated Triple H for years.
Есть такой удивительная хуйня, ну типа... Кто, но особенно интернет, рестлинг фанаты ненавидели Трипл Эйч. Трипл Эйч у них, ну, буквально был, блядь, главным злом воплоти. А тут, типа, ну настолько, ну, Сину по итогу они не любили даже больше, чем Трипл Эйча. Обалдеть.
wanted Triple H to be assassinated in 2004, but once Cena came on the scene, whoa, we love you, Triple H. Triple H will beat Cena. He's just getting too much backlash now from the fans, and it's apparently cool to hate him now. He's had a rough time. Jesus, I mean Triple H wins yet another title at the grandest stage of them all. Triple H was back in the main event scene, and it only meant one thing. But then the match happened and Cena won, and it is so funny to see people crying and complaining that Cena won. Did they forget how much of a terrorist Triple H was in the 2000s? I swear to you, 06 wrestling fans at this point had Stockholm Syndrome. This WrestleMania started out good, it did, and then it spiraled into insanity. Damn it, boo. Second worst WrestleMania main event of all. I'm so sure, okay? Damn it, I can't believe this shit. Two crap champions at the end of WrestleMania. I don't know who's worse. Nice one, Vince. Fuck John Cena, break his back and fuck him in... I guess.
Я хочу дочитать это.
Yes, блядь.
Я хочу... Fuck John Cena, break his back and fuck him in the ass. Humble him like an old country. I can't fucking believe this shit. Бля. Этот человек, блядь, выбрал ненависть. Этот человек выбрал путь зла.
Break his back and fuck him in... I guess, if that's what you're into. These fans hated the fact that Cena won, and a comment that I found on another post really shows how 2006 was such an unpredictable year. The post was, how long will RVD wait for a shot? Quote, now the WWE are not dumb enough to feed Cena to the ECW fans. Oh, don't you worry. Before we get to that, how about seeing the reactions to God Wrestling? Quote, I think Vince will end up getting struck down by some pyro, which they'll play up as being an act of God. Vince will end up paralyzed and in a wheelchair on Raw tomorrow. I am so surprised that's not what happened. Excuse my ignorance. I haven't watched any wrestling since WrestleMania. Only reason I'm watching tonight is how they book God. How they book God? You know what? Respect. God is a draw. But yeah, let's just say when the match actually...
Не, ну, букинг Бога был хорош, кстати. Букинг Бог получил свой пуш, я считаю, нормально.
Happened, the booking didn't go over that well. Quote, it has hit rock bottom. That's it, I quit. Vince, sort your shit out now. After tonight, I'm not watching again. This is getting circa 1995 bad. This should end with Shane institutionalizing Vince. We are in the WCW 2000/2001 era here, people. Be afraid, be very afraid. So, God is a spotlight? But other than that, it was pretty whatever. Everyone just knew, yeah, it's the time of the year where Vince is going to be a crackhead. They were more concerned with the fact that Cena retained that night. A fun little tidbit that I found was a post for The Undertaker's streak back in 2006, which during that time wasn't really this mythical thing yet. You know, it wasn't the guaranteed WrestleMania Classic status yet. But even back in 2006, 79% of people thought that he would retire with his streak intact. Yeah, if only. It also said 0% that the company will probably make him drop it to an old star. 0%. But ladies and gentlemen, let's play a fun game of Guess the Wrestler. So this post was titled, now that we've seen him in action, heard him speak, how long do you think this guy will stick around? I'm gonna say he lasts till SummerSlam, gets injured and is never heard from again. I think he'll be around for a few months, maybe even until the end of the year, and then he'll be forgotten in my opinion. 35% said gone by SummerSlam, 21% gone by Survivor Series, a few meme votes of he's a lifer. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you former world champion and Hall of Famer, the Great Khali. April 15, 2006 at 9:41 a.m. Great Khali, next heavyweight champion. Unfortunately, bank on it. Odds that Vince saw this post and booked Khali to be a Hall of Famer is not 0%. That's all I'm gonna say. Is it possible for him to get pedigreed? I'm sure Triple H could find a way. Oh, buddy, do I have a SummerSlam World title match for you in a few years? Triple H always finds a way. And Ric Flair always finds a way to get married, because May 19, 2006, yes, that May 19th, Ric Flair is getting married. And even back in 2006, 20 years ago, people online knew exactly what was going down. Quote, hopefully this doesn't end badly as his previous marriage didn't end up so well and he's still paying his wife every month for spousal support, I think. Quote, I imagine Rick's lawyer is already getting paperwork ready. But let's move on to something I was waiting to dig up. Ladies and gentlemen, the live reactions to ECW One Night Stand 06, the main event of Cena versus RVD. Let's get into it. We pick up right where Cena's about to make his entrance. Quote, well, here we are, RVD Cena. Let's see how this one pans out. I have 1037 in my pool for when Cena is hung from the balcony. Die, Cena. Here he comes. This will be brutal. The people in the crowd have their forks and knives ready to chow down on Cena. The moment we've all been waiting for. Feed him to the lions, Vince. And just reading these posts gets me so excited because it's like, imagine watching this live, the hype, the excitement, how crazy this was. This was fun for me as a kid knowing this was going to go down, but imagine being like 16, 17, knowing the lore of ECW and their crowds and everything, especially with how everything went down before this with Cena retaining at Mania and making all these guys angry, and now he's in ECW defending the title. What a time. Quote, when Cena wins, he will be lynched. Bank on it. I'm excited. What if RVD actually wins the title? This is incredible. Nobody wants this hat or shirt, lol. Dueling FU Cena chants, lol. Cena's still retaining though. Will security even attempt to stop anyone if the fans rush the ring? And then it finally happens. Edge speared Cena through a table and he's getting cheered. What? Yes. Everyone's amped, everyone's excited, everyone's going crazy.
А мы уже знаем, что там еще и все супер дрочили на Эджу максимально прям. Интернет-рестлинг фанаты жестко дрочили на Эджу. И Эдж, блядь, типа отпиздил Сину. И РВД нового чемпиона. Это прям просто супер праздник для этих челов.
Sense, right? That's what we remember this night as. This
Лучшее
exciting, this crazy
шоу
ending.
ever.
And all that, right? But what's so fascinating about this is the moment the match ended, the reaction at the time was so different. The fans didn't think that the title change was gonna hold. I never have thought about that. But because Heyman did the count, everyone's alarm went off, and most people at the point they didn't buy the ending. Heyman makes the count, RVD wins. Too bad he gets screwed tomorrow night.
Они думали, что читал Хейман, значит, ну, не читается, типа, не считается. Не судья Хейман сделал, значит, РВД не чемпион, ебать.
Finish. He ain't keeping that. Tomorrow overturned because not a real ref. Nice one. This won't hold. Heyman ain't a ref. So this iconic ending that we all know and remember, it's fascinating to see how at the time, they didn't even think this was real. If anything, people were pissed that this was the ending. Cena will be champ on Raw tomorrow. Bank on it. Yeah, I feel the same way. It'll be hilarious. Ha ha ha. RVD beats Mr. Unbeatable himself. 1, 2, 3. New champion. RVD. And that's that. Until tomorrow, when the decision was reversed. Relax, bro. This is a fascinating way to look at things because I had never considered that. But hey, the loss was still real to a few people, damn it. Quote, Cena fans in mourning. Quote, IMBD and Cena's MySpace is full of chain gangers in a state of mourning after what happened last night. Damn, they love that man. I found this on Cena's MySpace, which I thought was funny as hell. Also, it was written by a 14-year-old girl. Oh my god, I hate Edge. I hope you can gain your title back again because it is so sad that you lost. Don't worry, we still love you. Heart, Kaylin, Dylan, Cody, and Brandon. And Pav. During June of 06, there were so many posts on these forums that were so alive, and all my research I've done for other years, I've never seen them so alive like it was for June 06, and it all came crashing down, and it definitely hurt inside when just less than a month later, RVD and Sabu got cooked for drugs, and that kind of killed the momentum for the company, honestly. Meanwhile, in July, I miss Chris Benoit. Well, yeah, get used to it. One of the biggest news drops came out in 2006 was when it was announced that Jeff Hardy was coming back. After years of being away, he was finally clean and ready to return. To me as a kid, this was the greatest news ever. He was going to be my guy, he was going to be my favorite wrestler, I was so excited. Meanwhile online, his offensive moveset sucks, but he's fine other than that. He's at his best in a tag team. Let the countdown to Jeff jobbing on Heat again begin. I never understood why they were so high on him. It's probably the paint fumes. Holy shit. This signing will last until his first drug test. Nothing about Jeff says cleaned up at all. I bet you he did meth at a celebration of being re-signed. The internet was vicious back then. Nothing compared to what it...
Ну так-то где они не правы, блядь. Ну чё, Джефф он продолжил потом наркотики-то употреблять, как бы. Ну... Не сказать, что не сильно неправы.
It is now, and this wasn't rage bait or just trolling to be trolling or to be edgy. No, this is how people talked normally on these forums. But it's funny to look back at it because I was all like, hey, Jeff Hardy's coming back, I can't wait. And then meanwhile online, it's drug addict, terrorist, does meth for a living, I hope he dies. Okay. What would it take for another boom period in wrestling to happen? Vince would need to die, and Steph would need to give up head of creative. Kevin Dunn and the rest of those useless would also need to be cut out of a job. I mean, close enough. But other than that, the ending of the year was pretty chill, and we've talked a lot about it before. Kurt Angle left the company, everybody thought he was going to die, then he went to TNA, then everybody was scared that he was going to die in TNA. Yeah, that happened. After September, 06 low-key kind of fizzled out, but let's end this the best way we can. What did wrestling fans in 2006 think was gonna happen in 2007? Quote, ECW will become so profitable and popular, TNA will find themselves against WWE in some direct slot. The other person, ECW will be cancelled. My prediction is that Triple H will turn on Michaels again, and they will be fighting each other at every pay-per-view for about 4 months straight. Randy Orton will feud with Cena and become champion again, but this one actually had me shook. Chris Jericho will return around October 2007. I'm sorry, what? Shout out to Celtic Jobber wherever you are. I hope you're alive. I hope you're doing well. I don't know what the hell made you choose such the direct month of October, but you were just a little bit off. But now we gotta give it to him because the promo videos did technically start airing in October. You know what? Shout out to you, bro. I hope you're doing well. If McMahon wins the world title, does ECW count, pal? Jeff Hardy will win the WWE Championship from Edge, only to lose it 2 weeks later when he's caught with an illegal substance. Maybe not in 07, but yikes. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this video. That's how wrestling fans were like in 2006 online, and as usual, they were hilarious. This one was actually hard to beat in 05. For some reason, a lot of posts were deleted, so it was hard to find the nitty-gritty underrated posts, but I did my best. In the comments down below, let me know, when I do 2007, what events do you want to see me cover? What do you want to see me find reactions to or news from? Obviously, I know the big one, but other than that, let me know down below, just so I can have a more focused research, next time. But it's your boy Pav, aka WrestlinGifs. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll be back with another video very, very soon. I promise you, I'm back on the grind.
Дело в том, что у него в одном из предыдущих видео уже было про Бенуа просто. Оно уже было. Реакция лайвом на Бенуа.